Hi besties and welcome or welcome back to my channel. For anyone who is new here, I'm Sophia and I love reading romance books. Now last week I posted my very much anticipated, at least for me, Kindle unboxing. I got a Kindle for my birthday and I am utterly obsessed with her. I told you guys in that video that I was going to film my Kindle Unlimited TBR, and then I also had a request under that video asking to go through my Kindle library, so I figured we could just combine the two videos because all of the books in my library are also on my KU TBR. So I figured let's just combine the two. I don't want to bombard you guys with too many Kindle and KU videos. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this video. I have been working on this list of KU anticipated reads for literally like months at this point, so I'm really excited to go through them all with you. And yeah, let's get into it. So I think obviously the most fitting place to start would be with the book that I am currently reading on my Kindle, which is Ruthless People by JJ McAvoy. It is a Mafia romance. I believe it's arranged marriage as well. However, this book is not going to be my currently read for much longer because I got like 7 pages in and it is the most misogynistic book I have ever laid my eyes on, and like that's saying a lot because I read Mafia romance and, you know, unfortunately I think misogyny kind of comes with the turf of reading Mafia, but Ruthless People, oh, she took it to a whole nother level, and I would hope that the main male character is gonna get humbled real hard, but I just cannot do it. I simply will not continue reading this book in his point of view. So unfortunately, the book that has been my most anticipated read for like the past 2 years is gonna be DNF'd after 5 pages, which is so disappointing. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. I have so many other books to choose from. So yeah, that is Ruthless People by JJ McAvoy. Currently reading it, was on my TBR for a long time, not anymore. The next book I have in my Kindle library currently is Painted Scars by Neva Altaj. I have so much Mafia in my library right now because I finished By Fate I Conquer by Cora Riley literally last night, and what can I say, I'm in a Mafia mood. Like, I need all the Mafia books right now, but I need them to like meet that Cora Riley standard of Born in Blood and Kimura Chronicles, which it's a pretty high standard even if her most recent Next Gen series is not fantastic. Anyway, so I went on a bit of a Mafia downloading binge this morning, and I've got a heap here. The first one is Painted Scars by Neva Altaj. This one is another arranged marriage. I believe this one is Russian Bratva, and that's kind of all I know about it. I do have the physical copy somewhere over here, but it's just like so much easier to read on Kindle. I might pick that one up sometime soon. It's a short book, which is really nice. The next book that I have on my Kindle library is Brutal Intentions by Lilith Vincent. This one I'm a little bit hesitant about. This is a mother's husband stepdaughter romance, which I'm cringing just saying, but I saw the Book Refuge here on YouTube talking about it, and she said she really enjoyed it and it was like a little bit chaotic, but it was still like angsty, and I'm just like, will the step sort of thing be for me? Probably not, but I want to try it out. I'm looking for a dark, brutal kind of Mafia romance, and you know, if I only make it 5 pages into this one, not the end of the world. The next book I have in my Kindle library is Violent Delights by Jessica Hawkins. This is the first book in the White Monarch trilogy. I have the entire bind up on one of my lower shelves down there, and she is so intimidating. It is literally, let me get this out. This book is so intimidating. It is like, honestly, probably like 800 pages long. It's thick. It is huge. Like, literally look at that. Why on earth would I choose to pick up this when I can literally just download the first book on my Kindle and probably have more chance of reading it? This one is a love triangle. The heroine is already in a relationship with the younger brother. It is between 2 brothers, which we'll see how we go. I've never read a love triangle like that either, so it's gonna be interesting. But the older brother actually murdered the heroine's mother a long time ago, I'm pretty sure. It's just real messy, and she's kind of like, do I, don't I don't want to fall for the bad guy, but you know what I'm saying? Does she go for the safe option, or does she go for the like hot older brother, you know? This is why KU is so good, because it means I can like commit to something but not fully commit. Like, I can just dip my toe in the water without committing to it. The 5th and final Mafia book on my Kindle currently is Dangerous Innocence by Cora Riley. This is the first book in her new, I believe it's Irish Mafia series. To be quite honest with you, I just know this one's arranged marriage. I don't really know anything else about it. I've heard people compare it to Bound by Honor, so, and I love that book. Like, it has its flaws, but I love that book, so I'm excited to potentially see see Cora go back to her roots with Dangerous Innocence. And yeah, time will tell how it goes. The next book I have in my Kindle library is Buck by Lauren Landish. Why I have this on my Kindle, I've got no idea. I have indeed fallen victim to the TikTok and Instagram reel marketing with this one. Oh, I remember why I downloaded this book now. Buck by Lauren Landish is a bull riding romance, and I'm fairly certain she is like the veterinarian at their farm, at their ranch. And do I need to say more? Yeah, it's giving like a bad boy and their veterinarian, and I just think it would be fun. So the next cowboy book I have on my Kindle is the single dad romance. It's called Dust Storm by Maggie Gates. Literally the only thing I know about this is that it's single dad and cowboy, and it might be Grumpy Sunshine, and that's all I know about it, but it sounds really good. The cover is gorgeous. Like, she is so pretty. The next book I have in my Kindle library is Strung Along by Hannah Cohen. I got 11% into this one and decided it's not for me. I was trying to buddy read it with one of my friends, and I don't think the typical kind of rom-com cringy comedic writing that Hannah uses in this book is gonna be for me. Like, the story had I didn't like either of the characters. I don't even know if the story had potential. What was the plot? I've got no idea. Was she getting married? Oh, it was a wrong number. She accidentally texted him a picture of a dress she was gonna wear to one of her friend's weddings, and he was like, "Ooh, will you take a +1?" And she was like, "Block my number." So, you know, just everything about it is not really gonna be for me, so I'm actually gonna remove it from my library right now. Okay, the next book that I have on here is The Pool Boy by Nikki Sloan. This is another book that I own physically. It's right here, and it was on my March TBR, so I said let me download the ebook because there might be more chance of me reading it. So I downloaded the ebook. Have I picked it up yet? No. Will I? Potentially. So it can just sit there until I read it, because I know that's a book that I'm gonna read, so it can take up space. I don't really care. The next book I have on here is Ice Bet by S.J. Silvers. I finished Weekside by S.J. Silvers probably like a month ago at this point. It's been a hot minute. I loved that book. It was a bit rough at the start, but by the end, and like after I got over that first hump, it was incredible. I gave it a 4.5 star. If it wasn't rough in the beginning, it would have been a 5-star book. So obviously I had to download the second in the series, which is Ice Bet. It is, I believe, like a coach's daughter kind of romance, and it's hockey, obviously, because what else would I read? Mafia, probably. But yeah, it's a hockey romance between the coach's daughter, and I'm not sure if he's like one of the rookies on the team, but he's kind of one of the more like quiet, mysterious guys on the team, and I'm very excited to read this one. It was, oh my god, Weekside was incredible, so I have high hopes. Third last in my Kindle library, this video is going to be long, I just know it, is Baby and the Late Night Howlers by Catherine Moon. I picked this book up like while I was reading Long Shot by Kennedy Ryan, because I was like, I need something silly, goofy, fun. So Baby and the Late Night Howlers is Omegaverse. I got 15% in like a couple of days, and I haven't picked it up since. So I don't know, it's kind of giving like Wattpad, not in a bad way. It's just like, I'm not sure if Omegaverse is going to be for me, especially not that kind of plot where she goes into heat and has to like find a pack. I might try to keep persevering with it, but right now I have better things to read, like Mafia. The next book in my Kindle library I feel like is a pretty obvious one. It is Blockshot by Kennedy Ryan. I absolutely adored Longshot. I gave it a 5-star. She was so good. Kind of traumatic, but like just written so beautifully, and the metaphors Kennedy uses, oh my god, I just aspire. I aspire to be that good of a writer. Just some of the comparisons blew me away, honestly. So I downloaded Blockshot. I've not started reading it yet, but I hope to very, very shortly, because I just know it's going to be so good. And then last, but hopefully not least, in my Kindle library is Sovereign by Rhea Morris Edwards. This is a dark cowboy romance. I believe he kills her current boyfriend, and he's a cowboy. So yeah, I feel like that kind of explains why I downloaded this book. I did see it on TikTok. I don't remember why the TikTok made me download it, but it's on my Kindle. The trigger warnings page is very long. She is extensive. Like extensive. So we'll see if I ever read this book, but it's in my Kindle library, so I've got to tell you about it. But yeah, that is everything that is currently in my Kindle library. What is it, like 12 books? I have 8 more spots to fill if you have any recommendations for me. So now we're gonna move on to my like accumulated KU TBR. I have a quite long list written down in the notes app on my computer, and we're gonna talk about them, and we're gonna have a good time doing it. So you will probably notice on my KU TBR and also on my Kindle feel that there is a lot of dark romance, and that is because I'm just trying to expand my dark romance horizon. No, but prior to having my Kindle, any contemporary romance that was like on my radar and sounded really good, I would just buy the paperback, which in hindsight is a little bit of an issue. But now I feel like I'm like finding my groove again with dark romance and just getting like really invested in it. So yeah, there was a lot of dark romance here. And also there was a lot of like books and authors that I didn't want to, I guess, buy the paperback for, and then if I didn't like their book, still have the paperback. Like I feel like Kindle's a lot safer to just dip my toe in and be like, are you for me or are you not? Does that all make sense? I hope so. Let's get into this list now. So the first books, or shall I say series, that is on the list is Sophie Lark's Underworld series. This is her first ever series, I believe. I think the first book in this series was her debut book, and it is of course Mafia, because why wouldn't it be? So I quite enjoy Sophie Lark. Her writing is not like groundbreaking by any means, but I love her stories. I've read all of Brutal Birthright, and I've read like 3 out of the 5 books in the Kingmaker series, and I've really enjoyed all of them. So it just felt right to go back and read her first series. I don't particularly know a whole lot of what it's about, but it's Mafia, and I'm in a Mafia mood at the moment, so what could go wrong? The next 2 books I have on my list are by Jessie Hall. I read The Canary Cowards by Jessie at the end of last year, and I fell in love. That book was incredible. It took me on a roller coaster, but it just, oh my god, like it left me speechless, genuinely. Like I can't even verbalize how much I adore that book. Everything about it was incredible, and so that made me really want to check out some more books by Jessie. Jessie is typically a dark romance writer though, so The Canary Cowards was, I think, probably like her first contemporary romance, but as I do dabble in a little bit of dark romance, I'm not too scared to check out some more of her books. So the first one is Hawk. I believe this one is like an ex-felon or like ex-prisoner. He's just gotten out of prison and he's gone to live with his best friend and his best friend's girlfriend, and then he ends up getting with the best friend. I think that's the plot. I could be way off, but I'm pretty certain that's what it is. It's not something I would usually gravitate towards, but I love Jessie, so I'm excited to read some more of her backlist. And then the other book by her that I have on my TBR is That Sick Love. I think this one could potentially be even darker than Haunting and Hunting Adeline. It is a pretty similar plot from memory. It's a stalker romance, I believe, and I'm pretty sure there's a scene where he chases her through the woods, so it's just giving Haunting and Hunting Adeline. And am I ready for that just yet? Probably not, but it's on my TBR, so yeah, I'm excited to get to it one day when I'm ready for that mental torment. So with Kindle Unlimited, I do actually want to work my way through a lot of authors' backlists. One of the authors that I want to go back and read their backlist is Melanie Harlow. Melanie is by no means a dark romance author. She is like the first non-dark romance author on this list, but she just writes very cutesy little romance books. I've read the majority of her second gen to Cloverleaf Farms. Solid, just fun, like entertaining little small town romance reads with like enough spice, but still like likable enough characters. So they were just like really good palette cleansers, and I would very much love to go back and read the like first gen of the Cloverleaf Farm series, because seeing like all the parents in the second gen and like experiencing their books in the first gen, I just think it would be really fun. The next book I have on my list is a fan favorite. I don't know how I haven't read this book yet, but it is Darling Venom by Parker S. Huntington. This one I know he's a gynecologist, and that's kind of it. I also know that she has like a close bond with the little brother, but the little brother unalives himself. And then the older brother is her gynecologist, and I think it's their relationship. Which sounds wild when I explain it like that, but I'm sure there is more to the story. I hope there is. I don't think I'm prepared for this book to emotionally destroy me yet though, because every single person that I know that has read Darling Venom ends up bawling their eyes out and is like heartbroken, and I'm not in the mental state for that right now. The next 2 books I have on this list are actually fellow booktubers books. The first one I have on my list is McKay's book. Oh hey, it's McKay. I think it's called like Take Me Down. It's a rock star romance. The only reason I want to read this book is because it's McKay's book, and I just want to experience her writing. I want to see what's going on up in her mind, and I just think it would be fun to read it. And then the second book that I have on this list from another booktuber is Madison Fox's book. I believe it's called Forbidden Game. This is a romance between a video game streamer, so like he streams on Twitch, and I'm not quite sure what she does, but he's like a masked hero and I think he's pretty badass, so I would just love to experience that. And like I've never read a book like that where the hero wears a mask but is like also a video game streamer. I just think it would be cool, and I would love to like, I don't know, get a taste of that. I might just quickly speed run all of the Mafia books and series I have on my list because there is a lot and I don't want to have to keep like bouncing back and forth. So the first one I have is the Alliance series by S.J. Tilley. I believe the first book is Nero. Do I know what it's about? No, but it sounds really good, and everyone on my Bookstagram feed has been like raving about it and loving it and just like getting so consumed by the world that she's created. I did very briefly read the synopsis of Nero, and I believe our heroine ran away at a young age and the hero kind of built the Mafia organization from the ground up, and he sets his sights on her and like needs to have her, but that's sort of all I know about it. I think it could be interesting. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm definitely interested in giving it a go. The next series is the Kids of the District series by Nikki Harris. I know that Nikki Harris is an Australian author. I'm not entirely sure if the Mafia is set in Australia. I, for some reason, thought for the longest time that it was, but I can't find anything that says it is. So I'm not like 100% sure. I think it would be incredible if it was though. Like if someone told me today that it was set in Australia, I would sit down and read the entire first book like this instant, because I want more books set in Australia, especially Mafia. I think that would be so like just entertaining and cool. So the first book in that series is Our Thing. From reading the synopsises, I'm not sure if I'm gonna love this series because it sounds very like a little bit creepy, a little bit predatory, so I don't know. I might try reading the first one. I'm not sure if I'm gonna love it, but who knows. The second to last Mafia book I have on my list is Hate Me by Summer O'Toole. This one, I think again, the Book Refuge here on YouTube talked about. I went in a rabbit hole looking for Mafia recommendations. Pretty sure she talked about this one. And Hate Me is about two rival Mafia organizations where the daughter of one of them is tasked with the job to spy on the son of the other organization, and I believe they end up being in an arranged marriage, and she is supposed to spy on him but she doesn't want to, and like they fall in love, I guess. I don't know, that one just sounded like fun, and the Book Refuge said it was really chaotic, and I'm here for the chaos right now, so that could be very interesting and I could potentially read it soon. And finally, I think this is the last Mafia book I have on my list. It is The Devil I Don't Know by L.K. Shaw. This one, again, the Book Refuge had in a recommendation video, and it just sounded very reminiscent of Bound by Blood by Cora Riley, which is a arranged marriage where the hero, I think Luca, is probably a bit more like possessive, bit of an asshole, like kind of vibes than the hero in The Devil I Don't Know. But it was just reminiscent of Bound by Blood in the fact that Bound by Blood? Bound by Honor. But I guess it was just very reminiscent of Bound by Honor in the way that the hero was like possessive of our heroine, but he was also very protective of her and like very just not pressuring whatsoever, because obviously there's pressure in the arranged marriages to consummate the bond and whatever, like real weird old world kind of traditionalist stuff. And the hero just sounded like a really big kind of sweet gentle giant, but also like could slit your throat. So I love a man who is like hard exterior but like can be really soft with the heroine. So I think that one could potentially be the next Mafia that I read. I'm not quite sure, but it sounded very, very good. Another author whose backlist I really want to explore is Devney Perry. I'm pretty sure most of her books are on KU now. I definitely have Coach by her high on my like want to read list. I desperately want to get to Blitz, like Coach and Student, or like Coach and Athlete or something. It just sounds like so freaking good. Then next I have two cowboy romances. The first one is Rein Me In. I cannot for the life of me remember who the author is, but I will put the book cover up so you can see who the author is. This one I believe has some plus size representation in the heroine, which I absolutely love. There is not enough books with it, and to be honest, that's probably the only reason it's on my KU TBR, because I want to read some more representation of plus size women, and I think it's fantastic that it's in this book, as well as it obviously being a cowboy romance, because cowboy romances have my heart. And then the second cowboy romance that I have written down but not on my Kindle, because apparently I have a lot on my Kindle, is Here With Me by Brooke Montgomery. This is a dad and like he's like a single dad and she's like quite a bit younger. So again, age gap, but I've heard that this one is done decently well. Or is it like dad's best friend? That might be the second one in the series. To be honest, I can't really remember, but I know there's a big age gap and he's an older man and she's quite a bit younger, and it's set on a ranch and he's cowboy, and that's like all I know about it. But yeah, I don't know, I want to give it a go and just like experience the single dad age gap kind of vibes in that sort of setting, because I usually read it in like more contemporary settings like office romances and biker clubs apparently, and like those just don't really work for me, so I'm curious to see if this will. And finally, the last book on my KU TBR for the moment. It will absolutely expand and grow as I continue investigating all of Kindle Unlimited, but for now the last book on my KU TBR is Where's Molly by H.D. Carlton. I have read The Cat and Mouse Duet, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I've also read Does It Hurt by H.D. Carlton, and low-key I gave The Cat and Mouse Duet 5 stars, but I think about Does It Hurt more, so I'm like, should Does It Hurt have been a 5-star? Probably not, but I think about it so much because it was just so crazy and so freaking good and unlike anything I've ever read before. And so yeah, I want to get to Where's Molly. Molly is one of the characters in Hunting Adeline. She is one of the girls in the house with Addie, and I'm not going to say any more than that because I don't want to spoil anything for you. But yeah, her story just seems like it would be very, I want to say interesting, but it also sounds like it would be very heartbreaking, so I'm very like, I guess, intrigued. Like I want to read it and I want to see her get her happy ending. And with that, we have come to the end of my KU TBR What's in My Kindle Library video. I thought it was really fun just kind of going through all of the books that are sort of on my radar at the moment that are potentially going to get read in the next couple of months. My most anticipated KU reads, I suppose. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope I've, I don't know, exposed you to some new books, some new authors. Maybe you found some new Mafia books to read, since that is like what 50% of this video was. But yeah, I'm really excited to dive into all these books. I am absolutely loving having a Kindle and working my way through KU. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy, please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, because I would love to have you here, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. Bye!